Well, Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, man, listen, I actually, like I'm cool with, Danza, who does the interviews in Miami. And I talked to him about, because he interviews Charleston a lot. And I'm like, can you have Charleston just try to fix this? Like, can you have him apologize to some of the stuff that he said about Boosie and so forth? You know what I'm saying? To try to mediate the situation, but I guess that never
I don't
happened.
need no apology.
I know, you don't need an apology, but I felt that if I had the chance to do that,
Yeah.
I would at least try. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And look, you called me and you said, Vlad, I know you interviewed Charleston, but he talks about my kids and so forth, and can you stop? I said, I got you. If you look, you haven't seen Charleston interview since. And now he hates me too and talks shit about, my family and so forth, but it's whatever. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, I hope this whole thing works out.
Well, Boosie has pled guilty and was facing 15 years in prison on a gun charge that he caught back in 2023 in San Diego, where he was at a video shoot or something. He had a gun in his back pocket or whatever, and somebody took a picture or whatever and posted it. But they also had cameras out there, and he was fighting this case for 2 years, but the feds picked it up. And he ended up taking a plea deal. Now, in this plea, he's going to have to do 2 years in this plea, right? And, the whole country's talking about it right now with Donald Trump being the president, and they talking about law and order, and a lot of these rappers are being sent away, and a lot of rappers are being unalived. They're locking indicting these crews. They're not going to, he's lucky to get just 2 years, because remember, he was on death row not too long ago, right? He has a long tail, a lengthy prison record, right? So for him to get locked up with a firearm that they said it was like a Glock Hellcat or something that he brought in Georgia, and he took this on a plane crossing state lines, right, over to California, right? He could have got a whole lot more time than this. But let's look at what Charleston White said, on his live when Boosie took this plea deal. Check it out.
You gotta be dumb and stupid. You should have snitched, Boosie. I love my kids so much, Boosie. I would have said that's his gun. That ain't mine. That's his gun. Check the fingerprints on it. But you know what, Boosie? Your fingerprints was on the gun. They seen it in your back pocket. Kinda like, you can't beat the police, Boosie. I tried to tell you, you might as well come join us. You can't beat us, Boosie. You might as well come join us. Boosie going to jail. I'm so happy, I'm happy. I'm going to celebrate. Who wish jail on people? Me. What black man celebrate when another black man go to jail? Me. Your top 5, you saying you a real nigga. Boosie, I'm not going to lie. You are my top 5 favorite rapper. But that don't mean I don't want you to go to jail. Even though you are my top 5 favorite, I still want your ass in jail, nigga. It don't matter. I'm still gonna listen to your music, nigga, cause you in jail. I listened to him, you was in jail last time. Hell did you talking about? I went to the concert when they released you. When they let you out this time, guess who gonna be at the concert? Me. When they had your welcome home birthday, your welcome home party again, guess who gonna be at the concert? God is good all the time. I swear to God, I've been praying.
So Boosie, he caught a bad break. He caught a bad deal because he was out in California with this gun, but local police was watching this gang out there that he was affiliated with, that he was rolling with. And they got wind of the gun on his waistband. They called in helicopters, and the helicopters came in and pulled him over. He got pulled over. He got a charge or whatever. And I think he got a charge or whatever. They threw it out, but then he ended up getting a gun charge. The Second Amendment saved him, and they end up throwing that out, right? And and the feds end up picking it back up again. So now he's here in this situation, in this predicament, right? And fast forward, long story short, he just had to plead out. And he was facing up to 15 years. He's going to do 2 years. And I think he only got 2 years because this case was like thrown out twice. Because even when the feds picked it up the first time, it was thrown out, and then the feds refiled, right? And he was recharged again, and this time they had him, right? But this is what the news was saying in regards to this situation.
All right, on to a little more serious news here. A well-known rapper with a big following on social media could be headed back to prison after he pleaded guilty to a gun charge in federal court today.
Boosie was arrested during a traffic stop here in San Diego 2 years ago. CBS 8's Kelly Hesdahl joins us live downtown. Kelly, you were in the courtroom. You also spoke to Boosie. What can you tell us?
That's right, and his legal name is Torrance Hatch. Now, a lot of times defendants don't really want to talk to us if they're still going through court proceedings, but he was fine with it. He says he accepts responsibility for what happened, and he's ready to move forward.
I want to put it behind me. I want to get it behind me and get on with my life. You know, it's a lot of things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with, and, you know, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else. Yeah.
And his attorney provided us this video of him performing on stage. Now, Hatch, known as Boosie to his fans, now awaits sentencing. He's a father of 9 kids. His fiancée was with him in court today. So some background on this case. It stems from a traffic stop in San Diego in May 2023. Hatch was arrested in Choias View after police found 2 guns inside a vehicle he was riding in. Now, the state charges were eventually dropped, but the feds then pursued a case against him because he was a convicted felon in possession of a firearm, which violates federal law. Now, the 42-year-old rapper announced earlier this month on social media that he was going to take a plea deal. And so this morning he went before a judge and entered that guilty plea. So here's what his defense attorney told me outside court.
I am optimistic for Mr. Hatch. He, as you just explained, wanted nothing more than to accept responsibility and put this behind him. And now it's my job to make sure the court understands the scope of the case and what the case is really about. And more importantly, all of the amazing things that Mr. Hatch has done for the community, continues to do, and the amazing things that he will do going forward.
And Hatch currently lives in Atlanta. Now, he faces a maximum of 15 years behind bars. His defense attorney did not disclose any parts of the plea agreement or any details about it, but the judge made it very clear today, regardless of what's in that plea agreement, it is the sentencing judge who will have the final say. So the sentencing hearing is set for November 21st, which is just days after Hatch's birthday. Anna, Carlo.
Kelly, one thing you mentioned is that state charges were dropped here and the feds picked up the case. What else can you tell us about how this case moved its way through the system?
Yeah, and there was a lot of back and forth, and some of that had to do with the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court recently made a decision basically stating that you cannot prevent people who were convicted of nonviolent crimes of owning firearms. So at the end of the day, Hatch could have continued fighting this charge, but as you heard him say, he's ready to move on with his life. He does not want to continue for this to drag out in court.
Yeah, he wants to move on with his life and get back to work. It's holding him back, sounds like. Okay, thanks so much for that, Kelly.
He took and accepted the plea from the DA, but the judge still has the ultimate say-so. So he might accept the plea for 2 years, but the judge can still give him 10 years. He can still get a whole bunch of time in the feds. Now, this is a lot of moving parts in this case, man. But again, like I said, they've been after Boosie for a long time, right? I'm hearing the situation now going on with the YSL crew and Young Thug saying that he was telling. We know that Rollo was telling. We got Little Dirk situation. I know that they going to Memphis. They going after Yo Gotti soon with the Big Jook and the Govan Hernandez and all of these rappers that the drill scene. A lot of these drill rappers are dead or in jail. Most of the Philly drill rappers are just locked up, right? They just put them all in jail. So with Trump coming into office and this law and order thing, they're not playing. So a lot of you guys, like, y'all want to be a part of this bang bang anywhere gang, and you want to promote that type of culture. You gotta, anywhere you gotta go, anywhere you go where you know you gotta take a gun with you because you might lose your life. You don't need to be there. It ain't worth that much money. You don't need to be in that interview. I mean, you don't need to be in that video. Knowing Boosie, knowing that they're watching you, knowing that you be on Vlad TV every day, running your mouth, right? Making a lot of people upset. You know, the fans watch all that. You take a gun and you fly out to California with the gun and you got it brandished on your waistband. The police is watching the gang doing the video, stakeout. They see you. They see the gun. They call it a helicopter. They grab a gun, they lock you up with 2 guns in the car, you get it thrown out, the feds pick it up, they throw that out under the Second Amendment, and then the feds refile, and now you in this situation. How stupid could you be? Or how big, you think you invincible? You that big-headed? Like, you in a situation because you put yourself in a situation being dumb. And a lot of these rappers out here put themselves in that. And a lot of you young people, you watch this and emulate this and think it's decent. And in the streets of Memphis, Philadelphia, Chicago, all these cities across America, you emulating what you seeing these rappers doing. And you think that it's decent. And you're not going to get a deal like Boosie because you ain't got Boosie money. They're going to put you away forever, man. So Boosie's in real trouble, man. And like I said, man, you know, like he said, he been getting railroaded in the system his whole life, but you can't say they railroaded you for this. At your age, you chose this. You running around with guns, you in these videos, man, you still promoting death culture to our people, man. Like, man, this guy, man. So now you got to go sit down and be away from your family again. You got to go sit down. And I think you just had a baby, another baby, right? So y'all got to let me know what y'all think about this situation, man, with Boosie, man. Like, but like I said, Trump and them want law and order. So if you black, you a young black man and you go in these courtrooms now, and this time with the energy, the consciousness that's moving now through the country and this energy, you in serious trouble, bro. They not, you get your breaks on Broadway. They ain't playing with you in these courtrooms, right? They not playing with you. So you be stupid enough to go in these courtrooms with a gun or a violent crime. Don't blame it on the white man. Watch what happened to you. And it's going to be, you can't blame nobody but yourself, man. So I'm going to cut this video short here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.